This chapter is called Rally for Bobby. Now, it's about Bobby Hutton. Bobby Hutton was a real person in history, not to be confused with Bobby Seale. Remember, Bobby Seale and Huey Newton formed what we know of as the Black Panther Party. Bobby Hutton, we will hear more about through the perspective and point of view of Delphine. The chapter Rally for Bobby is on page 126. When Sister Pat pinned the picture of Bobby Hutton to the wall next to the other revolutionaries, I learned who he was. I finally read about him in the Black Panther newspaper. The article reported how the people wanted to name the park after Bobby. The article also retold what had happened to him. I kind of remembered having watched the news with Big Ma a few months ago and hearing about the shooting in Oakland. Now the shooting seemed closer, more real. Bobby Hutton was the first member of the Black Panthers, other than the leaders. He was so young, the Black Panther leaders, Huey Newton and Bobby Seale, made him get his mother's permission to join. He was also the youngest Black Panther to die for the cause. He was only 6 years older than I was. The newspaper had said how the police ambushed the Black Panthers while they were in a car and how the Panthers fled inside of a house for shelter. That there was a shootout, that the police fired at the Panthers and the Panthers fired at the police, that when little Bobby came outside to surrender and took off all his clothes except for his underwear to show that he had no gun and didn't mean any harm, they shot him anyway. Over and over and over. That was this past April, 2 days after Reverend King was killed. After reading about Bobby Hutton, I'd begun to look around at the Panthers who helped out at the center, and the young ones on the streets patrolling or passing by. I had looked real hard at them and had seen that they were teenagers or were a little older, like Sister Pat and Crazy Kelvin. I couldn't stand Crazy Kelvin, never called him Brother Kelvin, or went out of my way to speak to him. But I didn't want to see him get shot because he was wearing his Off the Pig t-shirt. Reading that article had made me both angry and afraid. Angry someone as young as Bobby had been killed, and afraid that if he could get shot for being with the Panthers, maybe it was too dangerous for us to be at the Black Panther summer camp. After all, they weren't teaching us how to deal with the police for nothing. And I was tall for my age. No one would think I was just a girl going on 12. The police who patrolled the center could be chasing someone, burst in, shoot first, and ask questions later. Maybe we didn't have to come to the center to learn our rights and to have breakfast. If Cecile let me cook dinner in her kitchen, she'd let me fry some eggs or pour some cereal in her kitchen too. Being in Cecile's house might have been crazy. Her house might not have been smothered with love, but being in Cecile's house was at least safe. We were better off in that green stucco house with Cecile. What would Papa have said if he knew I was bringing Vanetta and Fern to a summer school where police cars drove by to see what we were doing? I was supposed to look after Vanetta and Fern, not put them in danger. I wished I hadn't opened up that newspaper. I wished I could go right on thinking we were just having breakfast, painting signs, and learning our rights. I wish I didn't know that I was marching my sisters into a boiling pot of trouble cooking in Oakland. But it was too late for wishing. I knew full well what I knew. I could barely give Sister Makumbu my full attention. She said we would be attending a rally 2 Saturdays from today. Something about freeing Huey and naming the park across the street after little Bobby Hutton. Hearing Bobby Hutton's name had shaken me out of my thoughts. My hands shot up before I had words formed in my mind. I knew rally meant protest, and that protest could mean riot. After all, I read the newspapers. I watched the evening news. A protest was never a love-in. Sister Makumba was still smiling when she recognized me. I bet she thought I was going to talk about the newspaper article or say something revolutionary. I said, "I'm sorry, Sister Makumbu, but my sisters and I can't go to the rally." I knew I surprised her because I am not an "I can't" kind of person. I might as well have said, "We didn't come here for the revolution." Sister Pat said, "Don't worry, sis. I know Sister Anzilla. She'll let you go." I got over her saying she knew my mother when I barely knew Cecile. Besides, I had bigger fish to fry. I said, It's not my mother who's saying no. I'm saying no. We can't go. Then Vanetta called out, We can too go to the rally. And Fern said, We surely can. Vanetta and Fern didn't know what they were saying. They just didn't want to be left out of any activity concerning those Yankton girls or that Hirohito, still wearing his same Oakland Raiders jersey. Sister Makumbu asked for respect and order in the classroom. We quieted down. She said she would speak to me later and continued talking about the rally and honoring Bobby Hutton and freeing Huey. Then she said the very thing that was sure to defeat me. She said, We've been asked to do a special presentation at the rally. My sisters' faces lit up. We could perform a play, do a group dance, or recite poetry, or if anyone has a special talent to display, you can do that too. I was sunk. Talent to display was enough to sway Vanetta and Fern. There was no way to keep Vanetta from throwing herself on stage after Sister Makumbu said those 3 words. Vanetta is all ham and show. Any occasion, even a riot in the making, would have been good enough to perform at. Fern is no better. She sings like a bird, is cute, and like Vanetta, cannot resist the lure of applause and attention. I don't have anything to be vain about. I have no talent to show. Even if I did, I have no desire to throw myself before the people for their applause. I dance because the lessons are paid for, and Papa feels all girls should dance ballet and tap. I sing in the children's choir because Big Ma makes sure we motherless girls enjoy all the pitying looks the church can spare, whether we want them or not. Later, during free time, Hirohito and the boys started doing karate and jujitsu moves. The Yankton girls huddled to talk about what they would do for their special talent. From the looks of their gesturing, they would dance an African dance, and the other girls just played. I expected Vanetta to run off and join the Yanktons, but Vanetta told Fern and me, We should sing a song. Fern added, We should sing a song and do a dance. Before I could say why we shouldn't, they started, We can have our arms pretty like the Supremes, and wear our hair like the Supremes, or wild like Tina Turner. And the Ikettes. Ooh, we can sing a song, Vanetta said. Yeah, our song, Fern said. I pretended I didn't know which song they meant, but I knew. Just to make sure I knew, Vanetta and Fern sang the first 3 words to Dry Your Eyes right on cue. No, I said. They sang louder. Fern's voice sweet and high, Vanetta's drippy and dramatic. No, I told them, we're not singing that. They ignored me and belted out the heartbreaker part where the mother must leave her baby, then sang the la-la parts. By now, everyone looked our way, so I hushed Vanetta and Fern, whose eyes shone with life and sparkle. I had no hope of reeling either back to their good common sense. We are not singing that song, I said plainly. To their why not pouting faces, I said, The presentation is for the people, for Bobby Hutton and Huey Newton. It is not for singing about your broken heart to your long-lost mother. But they insisted on Brenda and the tabulations. They insisted on letting the world in on their longing for a mother who wouldn't cook a meal for them. I put my foot down. We cannot sing that song. Can too, they started. Vanetta said, and then she'll come to the talent show and see us on stage. And see how good we are. It didn't seem right that they thought singing and dancing would change Cecile into someone who cried for her long-lost daughters or fried pork chops and made banana pudding. Cecile wasn't that kind of mother, if you wanted to call her one at all. Her name might have changed. She might have been living on the other side of the country, but Cecile was plain old Cecile, just crazier and scarier than I remembered. I told them outright, We could sing Dry Your Eyes like Brenda and the Tabulations and dance like the Yaquettes. Cecile won't come to the rally and cheer us on either way. They said I was wrong about Cecile and wrong about what we could and could not sing for the talent show. I said, Those people aren't rallying for a TV set. They're rallying to free Huey and to change the name of the park. The mayor, the judge, and the police aren't going to just say, Fine by us. There's going to be trouble cooking at the rally. Vanetta sang, Spoil sport, worry wart, then Fern joined her. I said, Fine, but I'm not singing with you. Sister Makumbu said she needed help with something. Everyone raised his or her hand, but she called my name, even though I kept my hand down. I couldn't say I was surprised. Sister Makumbu said, "What's troubling you, Sister Delphine? Why don't you want to participate in the rally?" "Sister Makumbu, it's all dangerous. Just being here at the center is dangerous." She was silent for a while. "I see." That meant she wasn't going to lie to me. I wanted to still like her. I couldn't if she lied to me. "I have to look out for my sisters, you know," Sister Makumbu said. "We look out for each other. The rally is one way of looking out for all of our sisters, all of our brothers. Unity, Sister Delphine. We have to stand united." I was thinking, alive. We have to be alive. Wouldn't little Bobby rather be alive than be remembered? Wouldn't he rather be sitting out in the park than have the park named after him? I wanted to watch the news, not be in it. The more I thought about it, the more I had my answer. We were staying home tomorrow, and the next day, and the day after that. We certainly weren't going to be in no rally.